Mac Elkin, head of Sportsman Management Company. We generally have a sit down every year. Unfortunately, it's a triannual sit down and chat this time. What's been going on, mate?
Well, first of all, where's the budget gone? Because last year I was in, well, not last year, last time we spoke, I was in some tunnel or whatever it was.
Whitemo Caves.
That's what it was, yeah. And it was fantastic. And now I'm in a dingy little dungeon.
Yeah, but at least we've taken down the chains.
Fair play, fair play.
But
so
you've been moving on. Obviously, you've brought a few players into the stable. It's been slow around the world, obviously, for very obvious reasons. But the Sportsman Management Company just seems to go from strength to strength.
I've been very lucky, Mickey. Like the lads I've got, the top lads work hard. Still winning tournaments. As you know, Dimmy's won back-to-back World Series only like the last couple of months. I'd like to win a few more majors, have a good few runs, good runs in them. Dimmy got to the semi-final of the World Match Play. So, but I'd like the other lads to start picking up the form a bit. Wadey was playing absolutely out of his skin until he became ill. And then he's starting to get back into it now. And as we've seen tonight, he's pinging doubles for fun. So that's good. That's what we know about Wadey. Glenn's struggling. Jose is starting to come into a bit of form. But all in all, it's good. And the youth lads are playing well. I'm actually following it at the moment. They're playing over in Germany. And they're doing okay. You know, we're not pulling up trees at the moment, but they're doing okay. So the future's bright. I'm very lucky that I've got a good stable. And they all fit in and everybody gets on really well, which is a massive thing for us because, as you know, I'm a family. We're not a team as such. Obviously, you can't be in an individual sport. You can't be a team. But more than anything, we're a family. We eat together. We play pool in the hotel when we're on tour or table tennis or whatever. And we try to involve everyone and make it a fun time because when you're away from home, it's so difficult. And as you know, through COVID, everybody struggled and we've done regular FaceTimes to each other. And we've just done fun things over FaceTime, act stupid, make people laugh and try and involve other people so nobody's on their own, you know. But more than anything, we're very tight-knit, very tight-knit.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, particularly for players like James Wade, who I have to say, watching him on some of the tournaments over in the UK, where he was up on stage looking very trim, looked like he's lost a few pounds, looking very sharp, and his darts were, you could tell he was on the way back with his overall game, which is great to see. But when you've got to live out of a suitcase, people think it's this glamorous lifestyle, you know, because you're on TV. They don't see behind the scenes. They don't see the real setup that we're doing this in. They'll see something an awful lot better when the magic dust has been sprinkled and the background is on fully. They don't understand living out of a suitcase, seeing the inside of a hotel room. One hotel room is very much similar to another. One trip on a plane, very similar to any other. It's not the easy lifestyle that they believe.
Do you know, Mickey, a lot of people say to me, I wish I had your lifestyle. You go here, you go there. You've just hit the nail on the head. It's January, we had the Masters, we had a bit of time off after the World Championship. Then bang, you're into Premier League. We're away 5 days a week. Especially if we're in Europe, we're away 5.5 days, sometimes 6 days a week. We get home, we have 1 day at home. In that 1 day, you have to wash all your clothes, you have to get everything ready, and then you're away again the next day to go to Premier League because we have to get there a day early. So again, we're at Premier League on a Wednesday to prepare. You play on a Thursday. Friday, you're travelling to a floor tournament or a European, which is a flight. And then, like I say, if it's a flight, you don't get back till Monday evening sometimes or Monday daytime. And it's the same thing for 16 weeks on the trot. And then that finishes, then you've got the World Series. So just to put it into perspective, we went from, I think we went from Copenhagen to New York to Berlin for the Premier League finals. From Berlin, we went to Niederhausen to play floor tournament in Germany. From Niederhausen to Frankfurt to play the World Cup. From Frankfurt, to Amsterdam to play another World Series. And we was just constantly on the road for 5 weeks. And in James, you brought James into it. James has just had a baby, hasn't even seen the baby for literally a few hours, and then had to fly out here. And he understands it's his job, and you know, we get paid well for doing it, or the players get paid well if they're winning. And so it's so difficult for people like James, who, you know, has just had a baby, like I say, and the only time he sees his baby boy is on FaceTime at the moment, and it's hard. Yeah, like you say, all we see is hotel rooms, we see venues, we have to prepare. People don't see the preparation. They see him play on telly and think that's it, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever, and it's over. The preparation for these and the work the player puts in. On a match day, we'll have some food, we'll rest, maybe a little bit more food, come to the venue 4 hours early, practice, then go on for your game. And so it's just constant. We don't see anything. And in tours like this, when we obviously come here, we do get a couple of days off, rest days, and we can do things. So we get to go play golf or have a day fishing, but it's very rare that happens because it's just constant on the go. Especially in Europe, it's just non-stop. It's all the way. And please don't think I'm moaning, because, like I say, it pays well, but sometimes, and I know we can pick and choose, but it's mentally, it's really, really tough on the players.
Well, it's tough on the players, but it's also going to be tough for the support staff, not just the families, obviously, because there could be periods of separation, or they could be travelling as well, so they're going through the same emotions, the full gamut range that the players are going through, other than getting up on stage, because they're all part of it. But for you guys behind the scenes, and you and particularly as head of the organisation, what is it that you do that eases this the pressures on the players? Because you do a lot behind the scenes, and so does the rest of the crew, that they don't get credit for.
So I can only speak for myself, but obviously my job, or I try and pride myself on making sure that the player doesn't have to worry about a thing. So I go to every tournament basically, and then if the player's got a problem, he'll come to me, and then I will do my utmost to sort that problem, regardless of what it is. But just silly little things, like if he wants a bit of dinner, bit of shopping, and he's resting, I'll go and do that. I'll go and fetch the food, or I'll call something to bring food in. But I'll make sure that he can just rest for that day on a match day. Non-match days, I have to try and keep the players occupied. And when you've got 2, 3, 4 players in a tournament, it's difficult because they all don't really want to do the same thing. But that's why I was like, that's why I say, like, we try and treat it like a family. We try and eat together as a bunch, because once we're all around the table, it's fun. We have a laugh. The banter's amazing. We take the mickey out of each other, and we have a good laugh, and people are in good spirits. When we're in the UK, we stay in a hotel with a pool table, so we're always having a game of pool, and just silly little things to keep the mind occupied. So you're not bored. You're not on your own. But I mean, I book these hotels. I have to find these hotels. So it's my job to make sure that we've got something to do everywhere we go.
Well, that is one of the big things, is the players don't have to worry about booking the flight, getting to the venue, getting from an airport to a hotel or whatever, because it's all taken care of for them. There's an awful lot of work goes into doing all of that.
Oh, it's people just think it's easy. I could spend a whole day just booking hotels and flights, because you have to get the right deal. And obviously, I'm not just going to book anything, because it's a business. I'm not just going to throw money at it. I have to get the best for the money and make sure we've got something to do. I mean, I've just employed a lad now back in the UK, Paul Woodidge, who does drive. He picks the lads up from the airport, does all the driving, runs round, he fetches everything. It's a godsend, but he's not free. I have to pay him. Do you know? He takes a week off work to come to a tournament. I have to make sure his wages are covered, plus his hotel for the week, plus a bit of food. So all of a sudden, there's another expense there that I've got to pay out that I could do without, but I can't do without him. Especially now, when the players are so good, he's a necessity at the moment, and he takes so much weight off me and helps out by doing stuff. Because we've got so many players, I mean, we've got a minibus in the UK, so everyone just jumps in the minibus. We have certain times we leave to the venues, staggered times, and Paul will take someone, Ted Evans will take somebody with his, and then I'll drive the minibus at 9 o'clock for the rest of them. So we're absolutely fine in the UK, but when we go abroad, obviously the logistics are totally different because we haven't got a minibus and we haven't got Paul Woodish to drive us about, or Ted Evans. So then I've got to organise other things, taxis, I've got to make sure the lads get to the venue because we have routines. Like I said, a lot of players like to be there 4 hours before. So it's not a case of leaving at 12 and you're there for 4. It's a case of making sure the taxi or whoever is there for the 11:30. We know where we're going. We go to a venue and we're blind at a venue. We can't just walk through the main door with the rest of the people, you know, because it's a nightmare, especially for top players. So all that comes into it as well. Everything's different, but yeah, I've been doing it a long time now. So you do learn, but we do go to new venues, and like you say, it's all brand new to us.
Well, as you said, it's been better for you when you're down on the oceanic leg of the World Series because you do get that odd day off. But I mean, that's the harder side of things for you. Let's ask you something a little bit easier. When will we see the next or the first sportsman management company world champion?
I'm hoping it's going to be this year, of course. Last year was it was difficult again because it was just opening up and we wasn't sure how people were going to take to it, and there was a lot of COVID about in the Players Hotel last year. Players were dropping left, right and centre in the World Championship. As you know, Michael van Gerwen, Vincent van der Voort, 2 of the big names had to pull out, Chizzy. So, you know, it was very difficult, but this year, especially the UK, is back to normal, touch wood, and so I'm hoping this year it all clicks and it all comes together. I mean, James Wade's due it, surely. You know, he's won everything else bar the world.
Yep.
If we get a good James Wade for 3 weeks, he'll win the world. Simple as that. Dimitri van den Berg, he's on the verge, he's on the cusp. And then, like I say, Jose de Sousa's just coming back into form. If he finds that form again, like he did when he had that year and he won the Grand Slam and the Premier League final, got to the Premier League final, Jose can do anything. Does that, I always thought was going to be my first world champion, and unfortunately he's had a bit of a tough time. And
rough time.
You know, but Dozer will always be part of our team, or part of our family. If he decides to take another option, we don't know. I will support Dozer for as long as he wants to be supported. I'll never, ever, ever turn my back on him. And that goes to other players in our team. You know, I will never turn my back on a player if he's not playing well. I'll support them through the tough times and hope they come out a better player, stronger player. We've got a lot of good young kids coming through, like I said. We've got the young Czech lad, Adam Gorlas, 19. He's a proper big lad. You wouldn't believe he's 19. He can be anything if he wants to be. Again, it's up to him. The only person that can beat him is himself. And I say that about Wadey. The only people that can beat Wadey is Wadey.
Yep.
We've got Kevin Doots. I've got a young Dutch lad called Owen Roloffs. Absolutely tremendous. He can be anything. So the future for me is, he looks great. And I always believe, and I've said it before, that I go into tournaments and I believe one of my players are good enough to win that tournament. You know, so I always go confident. I never worry that we've got to play MVG, Gerwin Price, you know, or so on and so on and so on. I never worry about the other player. I just worry, is my player going to turn up tonight? And so on, you know. So I always believe they're good enough to beat anybody.
Well, that was rather a flippant question, and you've actually answered the question I was going to ask after that, because with the stable you've got, it's inconceivable that someone from there isn't going to be going deep into, I suppose, what they classify as the major TV tournaments and 4 tournaments and European tournaments, because there's such a fantastic bunch of lads. And I do like the fact that the answers that you've given are from the heart and they're honest and open, because I think this is the one thing that really does come across with your company. And I suppose that's why we have these chats every year. Because it is an honest appraisal of where we're at with darts, where the company is, where the players are, where the stable is, and the state of play amongst that group of individuals. It's always a pleasure, an absolute pleasure.
Mickey, for me too, like you, Stuart, Rebecca, are absolutely fantastic people. Whoever Rebecca is. And
she was here a minute ago.
And fantastic people, and I get on well with you so much, and I really look forward to coming down under and spending time with you guys, and even outside of this, as we call work, we have fun in the hotel. We have a bit of banter. We take the mickey out of each other, and it's all good for me. This is obviously my favourite tour every year, and it means more to me this year because of obviously what happened with Kyle. And just to bring that into it, it's the anniversary in 3 days' time on Wednesday, and it's going to be tough for us all because we're over this way. I know we're going to be in New Zealand, but we're over this way. I just want to say, like, we'll never forget Kyle, his family, his mum, his dad, Tara, Charles, Marcus. They'll always be in our hearts. I speak to Tara quite regularly. Norman messages me every now and again, Kyle's dad, and they're just amazing people, and I hope the darts world will come together again in a few days' time, just to take a minute to remember what Kyle gave us. It was Kyle that got me this gig, if you know what I mean, because if it wasn't for Kyle, I'd never have met you guys. So for me, he wasn't a player to me. He wasn't a best friend. He was more than that. He was literally my family, because we lived in each other's pockets for years and years and years. Constant reminders every day on my phone, on Facebook, of memories, and it's always me and Kyle. And I cry, and I do get upset, but you know, I look back and I think how proud I was to meet a man like Kyle Anderson. So hopefully on Wednesday we all just take a minute and just think of the great man. Think of how he touched everybody's hearts, and how he done stupid things to make us all laugh. And that's basically all I can say on that, because I am getting a little bit, I'm filling up a bit again. So.
Yeah, I can only second what you've said. A beautiful, beautiful man. A smile would light up a room just by walking in. And those words that you've just spoken, they've come from a beautiful heart.
Thanks.
Thank you very much for your time, buddy.
Thank you, mate.